So how well did this early 2000 shoujo series really hold up? Sand Chronicles is not a new shoujo series whatsoever, but I found myself reading it for the very first time as a 36-year-old woman. So some basic information about Sand Chronicles. It is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Hinako Ashihara. It was serialized in Shogakukan's Betsukomi magazine from 2003 until June 2006. The series spans 10 volumes, but the main story is within volumes 1 through 8. Volumes 9 and 10 offer bonus chapters, offering different perspectives from the characters that we met throughout the series, as well as Daigo's chapters. And I will discuss who Daigo is in a little bit. Sand Chronicles is not only beloved by shoujo fans, but it also is an award-winning series. The series won the 50th Shogakukan Manga Award in the shoujo category in 2005. Sand Chronicles has been printed in other languages. In English, it was printed in Viz Media's Shoujo Beat imprint starting in 2007. In 2007, Sand Chronicles did inspire a live-action Japanese drama, but in 2008, the manga series was actually turned into a feature film. So it's safe to say that Sand Chronicles is one of Betsukomi's classic shoujo series. Whether you grew up reading Sand Chronicles when you were a kid, if you're someone like me that has never read Sand Chronicles, but you know of it, I'm here to tell you, please read it. Please read it. And the reason why I want to encourage other people to read Sand Chronicles or even perhaps reread the series as an adult is because of the themes that are within the series. I will say Sand Chronicles comes with some very heavy trigger warnings. Some trigger warnings that will probably get this video demonetized. So if I do talk in YouTube AdSense friendly language, I do apologize for that. But I do have to proceed with caution on this platform. So there is the trigger warnings listed above my head. So if you're able to handle those topics, I highly recommend to read the series. So something very important to note about Sand Chronicles is that this is truly a coming-to-age story. I know I've talked about other coming-to-age stories in the past. I love Kimi to Look. It's one of my favorite series. But if you truly want to follow the characters from their childhood all the way up to adulthood, this series actually gives you that opportunity. I unfortunately do not have volume 1 to hold up because the library's copy was missing, but I do have volume 7, so I will just, with the magic of editing, I will add volume 1 here. So you follow the characters from the age of 12 years old, yes, as children, all the way up to 26 years old. This means you get to see everything from them becoming bratty teenagers to hormonal teenagers, dealing with a lot of these, conflicted feelings about love and attraction, to them going to college, navigating through work after college. So me reading Sand Chronicles for the first time, I was able to revisit the highs and lows of growing older. I'll give you a short run through of the plot without trying to ruin any big moments. After divorce, 12-year-old Anne and her mother moved from Tokyo to her mother's hometown in rural Japan. During their journey back to her mother's hometown, Anne's mother takes Anne to see the world's biggest hourglass and eventually buys Anne a small hourglass as a souvenir, something that will become very important throughout the story. From the moment they arrive to rural Japan, Anne feels out of place. But then she meets the honest but very clumsy country boy named Daigo. Then as she gets to explore more of this town, she meets the wealthy family with their 2 sheltered children, Fuji and Shika. Anne never really thought that she would belong in the countryside. But thanks to her new friends, she has found herself in a great spot with new friends and new things to look forward to. On the other hand, her mother continues to struggle with her mental health and eventually does take her own life. Anne goes from celebrating her new life, having fun as a kid with her new friends, to losing her mother and dealing with the guilt that she may have driven her mother to take her own life. Thankfully, her friend Daigo steps up to help Anne, and eventually these 2 childhood friends fall in love with one another. What follows are a series of trials and tribulations as we follow the children grow up to be rebellious teenagers and then adults navigating through work and societal pressures. So yes, it is one of those series. It will definitely make you cry. If you've been keeping up with the anime series Ikoku Nikki, it's definitely like that. It's very intense. It'll make you cry. It'll make you reevaluate your life and experiences. It also reminded me a lot of Fruits Basket as well when it comes to all of the sensitive topics and trying to empathize with all these people and also watching them grow and learn from their mistakes. And the last series the Sand Chronicles reminded me of is My Broken Mariko. The drama follows two women, but one of them discovers that her childhood friend has taken her own life. So she tries to rescue her friend's ashes and basically make her dream of going to the beach come true. One of the things I really enjoyed about Sand Chronicles was the way that Hinako Ashihara actually wrote teenagers. Because in a lot of shoujo series, and this is a pet peeve of mine, I find that teenagers are written to not act like real teenagers. They are naive, puritanical. A lot of times they suppress their sexual desires. And anyone who was a teenager, which is all of us watching this video, we know that hormones make you go crazy, especially when it comes to like sexual attraction. And whether a teen is having feelings for another classmate or perhaps a celebrity, like they're not bound to just pure thoughts, if we're being completely honest. So I really appreciated that Hinako Ashihara didn't shy away from topics like menstruation, something that is so normal among girls. And shoujo is, the demographic of manga and anime for young teenage girls. Essentially, the girls that are also dealing with having their periods, perhaps for the first time. So it's just kind of weird that the topic of menstruation, even just like a casual mention of it, just doesn't happen in a lot of shoujo series. But you do see it within Sand Chronicles. Ashihara was also able to capture how teens grieve as well and all the conflicted feelings. So the anger, the deception, the guilt as well. I mean, we see Anne battling through her emotions about how she feels about her mother taking her own life and whether it was her fault that she took her life or if her mother was just a weak woman. For some reason, a lot of shoujo series just kind of like tiptoe around these issues or just don't talk about them at all. And also, sex. Let's talk about sex in shoujo series because I feel like a lot of series also very much shy away from it. But here in Sand Chronicles, these teens are into one another. Anne and Daigo, who fall in love, also have sexual attraction with one another. But instead of shying away from this topic, you see some of the other characters, some of Anne's friends, gift Anne condoms, at least preaching safe sex. The topic of sex is going to happen between teenagers, at least try to promote safe sex. The fact that the teens within Sand Chronicles were written like real teens was really refreshing to see, and I want to see more of that vulnerability in modern day shoujo. And speaking about the teens being allowed to just be real teenagers, the characters within Sand Chronicles, they're all imperfect because humans are imperfect. There's no such thing as someone that has the right answer to every single life scenario. I found that the characters within Sand Chronicles were written to be flawed because humans are flawed in many ways. We make mistakes. We say the wrong things to family. We say the wrong things to friends. And we learn from those mistakes. That is literally how people grow up and become a better person. And yes, there were times within the series that I got a little frustrated with the characters. Maybe I got a little frustrated with Anne. Maybe I got a little frustrated with Daigo or Chika or Fuji. Like, I got frustrated with all of them. I even got frustrated with the adults. But I never hated any of the characters because all of the mistakes that they would do throughout the story, they weren't written just willy-nilly. They all had their own purpose. All the characters in this series just felt so realistic. Like, I've met an Anne in real life. I've met a Daigo in real life. You've met all these people in real life. So you just are able to form this connection that I haven't been able to do in a lot of series in general. And speaking about Anne and Daigo, if you're a fan of the childhood friends to lovers trope, this one right here. This one is the most rewarding one, but it'll also take you on such an emotional journey. Like, I felt heartbroken at times, and I would cheer, and then I would laugh, I would cry. It was a beautiful journey. What can I say? I enjoyed third wheeling with these two so much. And now if I can talk about both Anne and Daigo, I really enjoyed both of their characters. Daigo, the country boy, he was just, he was such a lovely character in this series. Obviously, he's written as like the naive country boy that is very clumsy, very silly. Nobody takes him seriously. But he had a heart of gold and he wore his feelings on his sleeves. Like, this guy was honestly such a treasure throughout this whole series. He was like the big brother figure to a lot of the kids in the town. It was just a pleasure to get to know him through this series and getting to watch him grow from a young little boy to a man. If you read Sand Chronicles, you will fall in love with Daigo and you will cherish him. He is such a treasure. And now let's talk about our female lead, Anne, who, oh my God, this poor girl went through so much at such a young age. Like, I do not falter for feeling guilt that her mother took her own life, but it was also not Anne's fault that her mother took her own life. But that is such a hard thing to make a child even come to the realization of. So watching Anne mess up multiple times throughout her life, it was refreshing to see a female character that thought of herself as a weak person. But in reality, as you're reading the story, she's incredibly strong. She went through so much at so young and also was able to forgive people in her life, despite the fact that some of these people really hurt her. I don't know about you, but it takes a very strong person to be able to forgive someone and allow them to still remain in your life and prove to you that they have changed. I also really enjoyed seeing Anne struggle, not because I felt like, oh, I'm the better person here, but she had to struggle in order to come to the realization that all of her memories, both the good and the bad, were all part of her. All of those memories made up the person that she is today, which is a journey that a lot of us have gone through at some point of our lives, especially those of us that maybe have dealt with a lot of loss in our lives, or maybe we have some regrets about things that we did in our past. We do eventually reach a point where we have to come to peace with all of the decisions that we made through in life, whether we agree with them as an adult or not. Anne was such a beautifully written character. Obviously, she was her worst enemy, but I felt like she represents a lot of women that I know, even parts of me as well. And I really did enjoy reading her whole journey and supporting her along the way. So if it wasn't clear enough, I think that Sand Chronicles is a shoujo masterpiece. Whether you read Sand Chronicles as a young teen, or you're someone like me that knows about the importance of Sand Chronicles but has never had the opportunity to read this series, I highly encourage you to read Sand Chronicles. It is a shame that it doesn't get promoted nowadays because the story in this series is timeless. Sand Chronicles was beautiful. It was tragic. It was emotional. It was vulnerable and real. And I think the saddest thing that I went through while reading Sand Chronicles was remembering the creator, Hinako Ashihara. For those of you that don't know, a few years ago, Hinako Ashihara tragically took her own life. After her last series, Sexy Tanaka-san got the live-action drama treatment, and she suffered mistreatment from the staff that was working on the drama. A lot of the writers wanted to rewrite her story, and she was so adamant about protecting the work that she created and the characters that she created. So unfortunately, much like Anne and Anne's mother, Hinako Ashihara was also quite sensitive. She really cared a lot about her work and the characters that she made up. And perhaps this just played a role in how much of an impact Sand Chronicles made on me, because I was able to make some connections between the characters that Hinako Ashihara wrote and her own life. I know this is not me saying that I knew who she was, but a lot of artists do pour a lot of their heart and soul into the work that they create. Not only the stories that they write, but also the characters that they write. I'm really sad that we lost someone as compassionate and caring as Hinako Ashihara, but thankfully, her works such as Sand Chronicles will leave a lasting impression on her legacy. So hopefully this video was enough to convince you to finally read Sand Chronicles or finally reread the series. If you have read Sand Chronicles, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will be seeing you guys very soon in my next video. Now I'm really tempted to collect the series. I definitely see the value of perhaps rereading it once I'm a little bit older and seeing how my perception of the series changes throughout my years. Like, I feel like this is one of those series that you would want to revisit when you turn 40, 50, 60. Like, it's just, it'll be an eternal classic, that is for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Read Sand Chronicles, and I will see you next time on my next video. Bye bye!